What are you guys doing? Hey, Gussie. Oh, don't get jealous, Em. Don't get jealous. Emmy's boyfriend, Gus, is over for the next couple days. This is Gus. Hey, bud. Hey! Oh, yeah, a little snorty, huh? What is up, MFers? So freaking jacked for today's video. Got the Dad Master here with me, who's potentially maybe gonna help me a little bit, but we got this crazy idea. So right back here, we have a garden. This is a garden that I plant every single year to grow my own vegetables, obviously, so I can cook with them. I like to cook, you guys know this. But myself and Max have this crazy idea. We want to build some type of a river stream system with the pond. We got all excited when we're going over to Zach's house at SC Fish Keeping, going to see all his awesome stuff and our fish over there. And so we want to build that for ourselves out here. And so we want to build a damn river that goes from up there down to right here in our garden. Doesn't seem like a very good idea, but let me show you how this garden's laid out this year. So I got some zucchinis and squashes here. We got pepper plants back there along the back edge. We got tomato plants right here. Miss Milliken Fish has got a little herb garden situation up there. Now I have no idea if this is actually going to work, but here's what we want to do. Man, it's bright out here right now. We want to put like a big pond situation right there, and then have a pump, obviously, pump it all the way back up to right up there, and have a higher spot and have kind of a river that goes down right here. Now, to be honest, I'm not really sure how this is gonna work out with the high spot right there, because it'll just be one little tube, so it's not gonna be much of a river effect, we feel like. So we want some like holding pools. We're gonna create some spots where there's gonna be water in between. I don't really know why we're doing this, but it's gonna turn out pretty badass, I got a feeling. I'm decently handy-ish. Max, do you have faith in me? A little bit of faith? And throughout the process, we're gonna need ideas of what fish to put in the pond. I wanna put some bass in it. I think the liner we're gonna get is gonna be a couple 100 gallons at least for the bottom pool area. And then I'd like to have a little bit of water, some more holding pool type areas in between. I don't know. But the first step, we need to absolutely go to the store right now, go see what they have for liners. Max is probably going to the swimming pool because he's on summer break and he's a jerk, and I'm gonna be doing all the digging by myself. But I think we're gonna do like a liner for the top part, and then like an actual a bigger pond that we checked out online that's like a formed liner already, a hard plastic one, and then of course some river rock and stuff like that. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. It's gonna be a fun little project, and we're gonna take you guys along with this. Let's do it. Pond liners, pond liners, pond liners. Huh. Appears to be a pond liner. So online it shows that they have a bigger one that's like 6 feet by 4 feet, but this is all they have right here. This is a 50 gallon. And then I got these little dudes right here, which we're probably gonna pick up one of those up. We're gonna need some tubing. We're gonna need some liner. Yeah, this is 10 by 13 feet, 7 by 10, 13 by 20. I think we'll probably need the 10 by 13 because our area is about 10 feet long, so we'll use the 13 for that, so we got extra. Yeah, we're gonna have to go somewhere else, I think, to try to find a bigger liner than that, because I want a bigger pond in the bottom part where this creek's gonna dump down into. And of course, we're gonna need a pump too, so we need to figure that situation out as well. Yep, that's the one. All right, here's what we ended up with, guys. This is 175 gallons, I believe. It's bigger than it looks. We got some digging to do. It's like almost over 6 feet by almost 5 feet. It's probably gonna go like this with our waterfall going down into it. Got the old pond liner, so this is gonna be for our little stream that we're making up above it. So 10 by 13, we're probably gonna use the 13 on the long length. 10 is obviously gonna be plenty wide, so we're gonna cut that down a little bit. And then got this, I went with 560 gallon per hour pump. I don't really know, I'm gonna keep the receipt on this one. I might need more power, I might need less, I don't really know. But I think this is gonna be overkill. It's for ponds up to 1,000 gallons. And it says it can pump it straight up in the air. It claims it can pump like 12 feet straight up, and so we're going to be going about 13 feet sideways, so I'm not really sure what that means, but that's what we got. And then of course tubing. I also think we need to get something up top for the water to pour into out of that tube right there, so that's going to pump from the pump in the bottom of this guy up to the top of the little stream we're making, and that's 20 feet long, so that's going to be plenty long, but I think we need a little upper level guy. Yeah, let's get that. All right, just got the local hardware stores. Did pretty well. Ended up being $290, which kind of pricey a little bit, and we got some labor to do because that thing is way bigger than it looked online. Luckily they did have it. It said it was in stock, and I wondered if it was up there on that top shelf. It was, and now we got to figure out a way to get it in the old hoe right there. Might take some finagling, but I think we're gonna be good. This is gonna take a lot of work to dig a hole big enough to put this guy in right there, but I think it's gonna be worth it because we're gonna be able to put like big fish in that, like really solid size fish. It's like 150 or 200 gallon size. I don't know, it's big though. So far we're off to a good start. We haven't had to do any work yet, so we're off to a good start. Okay, back home now, obviously, guys. Got my liner and everything right here, everything I'm gonna need, I think, potentially, to get started anyways. So first step is going to be, obviously, we gotta clear all this grass out here. If you guys are wondering what the lawn clippings are all about throughout the entire garden, well, right when you plant your plants, my dad taught me this, he had a garden forever, you put it right up tight to the plants there, and it fertilizes them really well as they decay. And if it's really, really muddy, you can walk on the grass instead of just straight up mud. So that's what that's all about. First steps though is gonna be like pulling a lot of that away to expose the dirt. So then we're gonna put this guy in there. We'll see what it looks like. But yeah, let's get the grass pulled away. I really, really like this liner and the size of it. I think it's gonna be about perfect looking at it right here. We're not gonna know obviously until we get it all dug and everything, but first step, let's get the grass pulled away. Second step, we're gonna dig a big old hole for that guy right there. All right, so majority of the grass is now officially moved. Got the liner put in here, so this is where the liner is gonna go. So the biggest thing I think is gonna be being careful not to put a bunch of the dirt that we dig from down there, which it's gonna take a lot to put this liner in here, and not dumping on it. We got a plant there, a plant back there, a plant back there, and then a pepper plant right there, another pepper plant. Yeah, we got kind of a minefield back there. And if you guys have grown zucchini and squash before, I grow them every year, they get freaking giant. But I think that's gonna make this look kind of cool when these plants get grown up in about a month to 2 months, because it'll give a bunch of shade over the top of this pool right here. So even though it's only a couple feet deep, it's gonna have a lot of shade and protection so those fish can stand it being super, super hot outside like it will be in July and August. So that's the top guy right there. So that's where the water's gonna come out of the little spigot, the tubing that we got. So this is gonna be down. I don't really know, honestly, where it's gonna be. Grading is gonna be a big issue with this, so we're gonna have to be really careful to keep a nice, even slope. But basically, this guy is gonna have the tube coming out of the top. Tube's gonna be coming from the bottom of that pond, run up this way, and we're gonna put a bunch of lining in right here. Obviously, we're gonna have to ditch it out right there, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So step one, we're gonna get the bottom pond done, get that all evened out. That's gonna be a whole lot of work getting that all put in there. That's a lot of dirt to move. And honestly, it's gonna be tough to even figure out where to put that, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool when we get it done. So let's get started digging. Okay, things are happening as expected. It's a lot of dirt to move. I've gotten to the point where I've gotten down deep enough that I feel like they can make up for this depth, but the problem is it's got to be the entire deep part there, and as you guys can see, it's not very flat. Also, what I kind of expected to do, I had to transplant my zucchini plant. So there's a zucchini plant, and there's the other two. Honestly, I don't know if those are gonna make it or not. But also, if you've ever grown zucchinis and squash before, you know they're like freaking weeds, so I don't have a problem with just going to the store, picking up a couple more of those. I kind of figured, and I should have figured, this was going to be required because we want this guy to be flat in the ground right there, so it can't be sloped down like that, which means I had to scoop the dirt out and fill in the back area back there, which is where the zucchinis were. So I'm gonna try to retransplant them. If it doesn't look like they're catching over the next week or so, then I'm just gonna get some new plants. So they've only been in for about a week and a half anyway, and again, they'll grow like weeds. But let's give it an old test, see where we're at with everything. Get this liner put into the hole right here. Oh man, that's actually that's pretty solid. I'm feeling decent about that. So you can see we got some space where it's up above the edge, which is okay. We want that to be a little bit higher because we're gonna fill a lot of that in, but we definitely need to flatten this main deeper basin part out. So we need to dig down a little bit further and grade that out a little bit, and then we're going to take a level and make sure the bottom of this guy's level, because obviously we don't want it tilted back and all the water being deeper on that end and not hardly any water right here. But so far so good. Just been a lot of work digging down. Luckily I got a nice day where it's only about 80-85 degrees, I like it. This is gonna be badass. I'm excited for this. All right, we're pretty close. This is where I need it to be. I feel like we're good right here. That side might be a little bit high above the edge, but that's okay. We'll fill that in. I think it's gonna be pretty level. Biggest thing now though, we need to see if she's level, because we don't, like I said, want it to be tilted that way. If it is, we got plenty of dirt back there, so I think we can backfill. We don't need to dig down any further because the front looks good to go. That was the part that needed to be the deepest. But yeah, let's throw the level down here, get a better idea. And that makes me feel pretty good about life right there. I know it's not perfectly level. We might even throw a little bit down under there before we start filling it in, but so far so good. I think we need to get it filled in now. Yep, this is gonna be cool. All right, there should be, I know there's still some gaps, but it's pretty well filled in. I figure I already got to dig the trench. It's gonna bring the pump hose out, up, and up to that guy right there to the top. So, and the water, once it fills in there, is gonna make that guy expand and stretch out a little bit. So I'm not gonna completely fill it in, get it anchored down yet. That's something we'll be doing towards the end. But next phase, we got the manual labor phase done, where we're digging that big giant hole. Honestly, I'm pretty happy about it because my garden's graded a little bit more. It was that kind of a slope previously, so now it's like pretty flat right there. Now we got to do a little bit more technical work with grading, because this lip comes up. We might even have to take some of that lip off to shave it down. Hopefully not, I don't think we'll have to. But I'm gonna dig out a little bit of a levee right there that's gonna go up to the top guy. And that spout's gonna have to come up a little bit higher than we probably previously anticipated, but making progress. We're making progress. Okay, upper guy is in place. The little pool area where the spigot's gonna be right up there. Dump water into that guy. And then I levied this all out into the big pond right down there below. Thing is, I think we're gonna have to build this up right here and right here to make sure obviously the water doesn't shoot off to the side. So we're gonna have to build that up and have the liner kind of folded in so all the water is directed right to the pond right there. That's level right there. That guy's level as well. But I don't think we're gonna have any idea on grading or anything until we have some water in this. So I'm going to fill this guy right here with water. And I'm gonna get the pump out. We're gonna get the pump set up. We're gonna run the hose above the ground right here from the pond up to the top area right there, the top pool. And then we're gonna get the liner chopped, probably like 3 feet across, maybe a little bit further. Whatever length that is, looks like it's gonna be about all 13 feet of the 13-foot length that we ended up buying. So I'm really glad I got that instead of the 10 foot. I think it's probably longer than 10 feet on our little river creek that we just created. I like how this is set up. It's coming along nicely. But I don't think until like trial and error we're gonna know where the grading needs to occur in a larger fashion of depth chopping. I'm just saying a bunch of big words, I don't sound smart. Basically, I need to put water in it to figure out what the hell it's gonna do. Okay, pond is almost completely full of water. As you can see, once we got water in it, it did tilt a little bit to the right. We got about an inch clearance over there and inch and, I don't know, inch and a half, inch and 3/4 over there. Really not gonna be a big issue once we get some rocks put around this guy. Didn't really overflow right here either. That was an important part, that there would be a little bit of a lip right here, and front to back we're almost perfectly level. So that worked out really, really well. Also came up here and put some water in the top pool just to see if this was level. It almost looked like it was tilting backwards, like this part was up too high, but as you can see, it's actually pouring out right now, almost perfectly level. So this guy is going to be perfect right there. Also, while that was filling up, I cut a section 4 foot by 13 foot. It's going to be excessive for right here, so we're going to need to trim it down, but always good to start with too much to get started. Better than not enough and have to recut it and waste a whole bunch of material. But yeah, everything looks like it's going well so far. I think I'm going to use some spray adhesive to spray that and connect it to the bottom part of this right here, which is only going to be basically so it stays there in place, not because it's going to have to seal anything, because this is going to flow out that way. We're going to tuck that black mat up under here, and then the rest of it after that is just going to be leveling this all out, cutting it and trimming it so it's clean on the edges, and then it's going to be all about going and getting some rocks or something to make this look pretty. After that, it's all cosmetic, but of course we got to make sure the pump works, so we're going to do that probably before we get going any more further is make sure that is a powerful enough pump before we get it too wet and dirty, to make sure it can get the water from down there to up right here. I'm thinking I'm gonna bury the hose. It's gonna come out that side. Hopefully it's got enough power anyway, and bury it right along this inside seam. Maybe put it underground right here, and of course coming out at the top. I really like this. All right, pump is all hooked up. Connected the hose. You're gonna connect the power. Actually, let's drop them in. Bottom of the tank, and this is the full 20 feet of hose, so we actually aren't going to need this much power to make this go, but let's pop them on. Looks like water is going up through the hose. Boom! And that is more than enough. Hell yeah. We don't really need that to be pulling up though right now, so we're going to take this out for a second. Okay, welcome to day 2 of the River Creek pond building in my garden randomly idea situation we got going on. I got my apprentice, the master of dabbing, and he's finally back. Did you have fun at the pool yesterday? I was out here slaving away, and you were enjoying yourself with some nice cold beers and cannonballs. But yeah, check out what I got done here. We got the top level here, and then I roughly cut a bunch of this pond liner here, dumping down into the pond. Max, do you want to hop in here and plug it in, and we'll take a look and see how it goes? Give her a plug. Plugged. Comes water off the chute to the top. And let's see how we go. Down she goes. A little further. Please keep going. It's working. And is it going to overflow down here? And it's working. Heck yeah, dude, give me some. That's a start. Like I said, this is very roughly done and cut right now because today is going to be the day that we make it look pretty. That's basically what today is, adding a lot of the detail work, mostly with rocks. And so we're gonna head to the store here in a second. We're gonna go get a bunch of rocks. As you can see back there, we have a nasty, stupid extension cord situation, and those are my ones I use for the boat. So we're gonna get a long extension cord. We're gonna run that down the fence and everything to the pump. Also need to get a filter. We need to get a bunch of rock though. That's the biggest thing, and make this thing actually look like something more than just a black tarp that dumps into a pond. And of course we got to get that line buried along with it, with the pump hose and everything. But I really like how this turned out. We might even be able to put like some itty bitty microfish in that guy up there, or in this little pool down here that's kind of been created just by the natural flow of the water and the way that everything ended up working. So really happy with it. And Dad Master, head to the store, get some rock. Yep. Let's do it. All right, just got back from the store. Spent another $150, so not a stupid amount of money. For those of you playing along, we have now spent probably about $400 on the pond, which honestly I don't think is too terrible given how big of a project we've done here and how much rock we got. Look what we just got here. So we got a bunch of different sizes and colors of rocks. These are just like little itty bitty pea gravel guys. We got 2 bags of those. Those are gonna go in the creek bed first. So those will kind of fill everything in. But I think they need to go on the bottom, maybe in the bottom of this guy as well. I'm not really sure yet. And then we got some bigger guys right here. These are called like pebbles, stone pebbles. I think we got like 3 bags of different varieties of those guys. Then these are super badass. These are like straight up big black stones that are like 2 or 3 inches in size. So what I'm gonna do with those is once we get the gravel and everything along the edge of this creek bed right here, we're just gonna kind of scatter those rocks throughout. I think it's just gonna add some really cool color to it. And then along with our $400, we went and bought a wheelbarrow. We got a terrible wheelbarrow, but hey, it's gonna do the job for us. I don't know if that's really gonna count into the total price of our project here, because we're gonna need it for future projects and stuff like that. But we ended up getting a bunch of these flat rocks. So these flat, mossy rocks, I think those are gonna look really good around the perimeter of the pond, the form pond down there. And we also got a bunch of stones, a bunch of these rounder stones. We're thinking we're gonna put those on the creek bed, on the creek edge and stuff like that. Those are all on the bottom here. But there's some red ones, there's some black ones mixed in. A bunch of really cool colors, shapes, sizes that I think are gonna look really good on the edge. But we're gonna start by dumping a bunch of the smaller rock in there, and then I think we're just gonna kind of go from there. All right, something's happening. We're getting places. So we got all the, not all, but a lot of the rock dumped into the creek bed right here. As you can see, that made it ultra muddy down there in the pond, which is not a big deal. We haven't put the filter in yet. We haven't run the filter yet, and so that's gonna all be filtered out. This rock is covered in like dirt and stuff, which also means it's gonna look way more badass when we actually we start spraying it down, get it cleaned off, washed off and everything. So now we did some grading on the side, so it kind of it leveled it out a little bit more because it was too steep and the rock wasn't just staying in place, it was all pooling up in different areas. We did that on both sides, and we ran the hose underneath the ground. We made a little ditch for it that went right on the edge there, and now it's coming out there. We're gonna cut that down a little bit too. Next step though is to add the bigger pebbles, the bigger stones, I guess, or not pebbles at that point, around the outside of this guy, or on the edge of the creek bed, and then down around the pond, we're gonna add some of those flatter rocks. We might mix some of those in here too. Working hard over there? It's a cool hose you got. Man, you're getting a lot done today, Max. Proud of you. Okay, after a lot of work, a lot of trials and tribulations, actually not that many trials and tribulations, actually went pretty damn smooth. We're done for now. This is a start. So we got our pond down here, got our rock all put around it. I think those look nice around it. And then we got the bigger stones put on the side. And I think those black pebbles mixed in there look really, really nice. Those bigger black pebbles. We were a little bit short though. We're gonna have to run back to the store and get some more of this bigger rock. We're gonna put her on the top there. We're gonna mix it into the middle of the stream. And I think getting some bigger stones to mix in with these guys will make it look a little bit more natural and not so manufactured like it is right now. I mean, as not manufactured as randomly building a pond in the middle of a garden can be. Also, like I said, we're gonna be planting plants all around here. And these are gonna be bigger plants out around here. They're gonna give it a lot of shade up over the pond. The pepper plants back there will probably be 4 feet tall or so in about a month. So those are gonna line both sides. We're gonna plant a couple more tomato plants on this side. You guys might be wondering why the hell I did this and created it in my garden. Like I told you before, I wanted this growing up. I wanted my own creek pond in my backyard. And really I just did it because I freaking felt like it. Max and I were like, hey, we should do it. So we did it. Max, wanna plug her in? We'll get some water shooting through here. Dang, that pump works like crazy, dude. All right, there comes the water. As you guys can see, it is chocolate milk in there from rinsing off all these rocks. Of course, the rocks were not clean. I just gave them a little rinse to make them look a little bit prettier in the picture. But we're gonna let this all cycle through the filter that we got, and then that water is gonna be like gin clear. And then we are gonna need you guys' ideas of what the hell I want to put in here. I want to put like a big predator. It's big enough, you know, a couple 100 gallons that we can put a good sized predator. I'm thinking like a largemouth. Maybe Zach will even give us one of his peacock bass or something like that. So we can put that in there. Of course, we could put a bunch of different little bluegill, microfish. We could even put some little itty baby guys up there on the top, even though I am a little bit nervous about those guys living up there, because if they get washed out of there, they're gonna be probably stuck in this guy right here. I don't know, but there's the waterfall situation. I'd also like to add some rock to that so it kind of pours over the rock, looks a little bit more natural than just flowing over our little mat situation right there. But man, so far, what do you think, Max?
I think it's good.
You're a fan?
Yes.
How many dabs would you give it out of 10?
10.
10 dabs out of 10?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that. Okay, MFers, all finished with the project. Like I said, kind of a rough project anyways. We gotta still get a bunch more rocks. The plants gotta get planted and they're gonna get filled in. Once they grow up, I think it's gonna make a really, really cool canopy. And like I told you guys earlier, we're gonna need your help. We need to know, what fish species do you, the MFer Nation, want to see stocked in the pond? Do you think fish could survive, like little tiny fish in that upper bowl area? I'm not even freaking sure. I got a filter that's coming. It's gonna be on the way. Should be here today, actually. But yeah, got the whole project done. I wanna know you guys' opinion on this video, on this project. If you do things different, I know that everyone is an expert on YouTube in the comments section. So I'm sure there's many, many things that you guys would have done differently, and I'd like to hear them. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more of these pond building type videos, let me know in the comments, and of course go subscribe, because we're gonna have some fish stocked in this little pond very, very soon. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this one. I'm out of here. Peace.
I'm not sorry. I can't help this love like mine.